you've seen very closely this enormous and very complex build actually with your records of extravehicular assembly, extravehicular activity. You've seen many facets of the outside of the space station. Can you tell us about the technical achievement of this huge mechano?
Well, I think Sergei said it very well, and it's amazing the fact that these pieces are manufactured all over the world by people who not only don't they speak the same language, but they don't have the same alphabet. They have different units of measurement, which has gotten us into trouble before. And nonetheless, thanks to a very systematic processing and attention to detail, they get up into space, and 99 times out of 100, or 999 out of 1,000, the things work first time. And we always practice, whether it's a spacewalk or an internal vehicular activity, inside maintenance. We always practice, what if this doesn't work and that doesn't work? We have backup plans, and of course, the things that happen tend to be the things that you haven't anticipated, and the things that we've anticipated, I guess we've studied them so hard that they just don't bother happening. But it's pretty amazing to see this huge structure growing, and after every shuttle flight, assembly flight that comes back, the crews always say, the amazing thing is everything's working. That's very positive.
That's very much because also the team on the ground and you have, while you're up there, a very strong relationship too, like we were talking about with the scientists. You develop a very strong relationship with the operators, with the mission control people, to help you optimize your time and your work up there as well, isn't it?
Well, I think in his opening comments, Mr. Gerstenmaier was talking about a solar array problem where, that was absolutely unanticipated, and the teams on the ground, it wasn't Apollo 13, but it was a very big achievement, and the crew and the ops team on the ground end up working as a unit. I think the guys on the ground work a lot harder than we do because they have more people and more tools at their disposal. But in the end, you're right, it's just cooperation between all the players involved, and there have been a couple of episodes like that, and knock on wood, they've all turned out well.
Of course, servicing, like you have the experience of the Hubble Space Telescope servicing. Could you tell us a little and compare this, the activities related to these fine mechanics with the one Mike just explained on the station?
Oh, that's true that the astronauts have a very strong sense of duty, and we feel strongly responsible, and we owe to the people on the ground, whether they are the scientists for the scientific experiment, the engineers who have prepared the hardware, the instructors who trust us, who trained us. When I was training to capture the Hubble Space Telescope, which was wobbling in the simulator because it was not using fine gyroscopes, I was told, you will capture it after sunrise, the telescope will be catching back the sun, and so it may be moving. It's $6 billion in your hand, don't miss it, okay? But we train, and when you train, if in your mind you think, this is the truth, I am really in space, my life is really at stake, the mission is really at stake, you force yourself to perform well. And if you stress too much in space, you just tell yourself, once you are in space, this is just training, and then it works well.
When Columbus was taken and put on the station, what were you thinking at that time?
What was I thinking? Of course, that was a very emotional moment when we were closing to the final docking of Columbus. I was in charge of bolting Columbus right after. But of course, you are thinking of all the people who have been working and preparing for several years. I think I could say a couple of decades when the program started. So of course, as we say, that we are the tip of the arm, you are finishing the work, but there are a lot of people before you who worked a lot. We were expecting Columbus to fly earlier, and finally we did it. So it was a very, very big emotional moment, and thinking about all the team on the ground.
Sergei, how would you compare the Mir environment, the space station environment, in terms of technical achievements and lessons learned from one to the other?
We saw actually a lot of inherited things from Mir to ISS. Actually, in the beginning, service module of International Space Station is very close in design and construction with core module of Mir station. And many systems that were developed and tested during many months and years of Mir flight were used on International Space Station. And when Yuri Gidzenko and I, we both flew Mir expeditions before. We found ourselves that even when we tried to put some things behind the panel, we put the same thing at about the same place. So we even inherit the kind of location scheme for storage. Although, of course, with new development, new design, we have a lot of things improved and upgraded. We try to use as much experience and good things from previous experience. Although with new computers, with new communication capabilities, we are moving forward and we are able to do more experiments, more data, to get more data and downlink it to the ground. So we see gradual changes, and I think it's good that it's not too much revolution in this change. Everything is inherited from previous experience.